All right, good evening, everyone. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. We have a cold weather advisory for, well, most of our area today. It's really for technically Friday morning from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. So it's tonight and early tomorrow morning. And that's for the cold weather, of course. Temperatures down in the upper 30s to near 40. Plus you factor in the wind, it's going to feel more like the lower 30s, and even some spots up north will feel like the 20s. So wanted to give you a little update on the weather. You can see there that we have just about everybody included in it. But notice here along the coast, western Manatee, western Sarasota not included. Temperatures will be just a little bit warmer there, mid 40s really for lows. It'll feel like the low 40s, though, when you factor in the wind. But just about everybody else has it. DeSoto and Highlands County does not have it either. If you're wondering, this is a new warning, or advisory, I should say, that the Weather Service came up with for this winter. They'll be using it for the winters, and it just gives us a heads up to kind of cover up cold temperatures, freezes, and that type of thing. Today's almanac, so 66. I mean, it was cold this morning. Not cold, but it was chilly with cloudy skies. But once the sun came out, it felt fantastic. And so we cooled things down as we've gone through the evening hours, but still, it was a nice looking day out there, below average by almost about 10 degrees. Now, this is the last 40 hours, and so you can see the big change with the cold front that's come through. 2 o'clock on, Wednesday afternoon, we were 75. We were 63 today, so 12 degrees cooler, and now we're down into the mid-50s. The front itself is down south. It's down over the Florida Straits, just about to Cuba. Current air temperatures here, as I'm recording this, are generally in the lower 50s, some 40s. I mean, we got 49 right now in Brooksville. Crystal River is in the mid-40s, and there's colder air coming. Now, look at the dew point change. So this is a complete new air mass, right? Cold, dry air mass pushing down. Now, we're only getting a taste of it. Obviously, the coldest stays up to the north, but it's a pretty good taste of it for us. And you can see how it's a fresh air mass just by looking at how dry it is. Now, here are the winds. The winds haven't picked up just yet, and they won't be terrible, but they will be a little breezy overnight tonight, especially after midnight, and then basically all afternoon, all night and all afternoon for a Friday. And that's part of the reason that we had that cold weather advisory. You factor in the low temperatures in the 39 to 40 degree range, and factor in the winds on top of that, and it makes it feel like the lower 30s. Look right now up in the Panhandle. Current air temp, Pensacola, 37 degrees. 37 in Panama City right now. Gainesville's at 42, while we're at 55 in Tampa. So big changes coming. Now, this is a forecast model for the winds, and you can see them pushing from north to south through tomorrow morning. But this is tomorrow morning, gusts in the teens and 20s. Winds sustained 10 to 15 miles per hour. And so that means it's going to feel much colder for any exposed skin you have out there. Now, look, if you just moved down here to Florida, or if you're just visiting, this is not terrible, right? I get that, but it is cold for us here because we don't get this all the time, hence the cold weather advisory. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, the wind, I don't know if you noticed that, earlier in the day, the wind's coming like this, but later in the day, the wind's coming like that. That is a huge difference for us for winds. I know it's still coming from the north. This one, the first half of the day, is a cold wind because it's coming in straight from the north with the new fresh air mass, right? This one coming in from the northeast by the afternoon is actually coming in off of the Atlantic and then across the land that heats up with sunshine. So it moderates the air, and by the time it gets over here, it actually warms up. So north winds in the morning is going to make us really cold just with the cold air on top of that, right? But as the day wears on, plus the sunshine, plus this northeasterly wind, will rebound pretty quickly, and we'll have a really nice Friday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be closer to 65, 66 degrees like we had today. But after starting, 15 degrees colder than what we did today. So that's the big difference. Now, it has been cold. Polar vortex. Tried to go without saying it, but had to do it. Sitting down here, basically came off the poles. You get a little disturbance in it, kind of pushes a piece off to the south, and that's pushing this cold air in here. Iowa Falls at 0 right now is kind of the core of this. They're in Nebraska, Iowa and Nebraska. So you can see it's actually warmer the further north you go from some of those spots. But this is about as cold as we're going to get from this. Watch how it shifts east. This right here is Friday. But then notice as we go through the weekend, the cold starts to lift up, at least for us, right? And then we'll continue that trend as we go into the first half of next week. But then look at Wednesday into Thursday. Still relatively mild. We'll actually be in the mid-70s parts of next week. And then I think Friday, if this holds, we're going to have a real brief shot of cold air, something similar to what we're dealing with right now. So we might do that again next Friday. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, though, when you get this trough in the eastern half of the United States, you got a ridge out here going up, you're going down over here. That allows cold air here, warm air here. And so just because it's in the East Coast doesn't mean we're getting all the cold, but it does mean that we've got a better shot at least cooling down because we're over here and not over there, right? All right, so now let's talk the cold front. There's the front I was telling you. It's halfway across Cuba right now. It's falling apart, but that's the back door of it, right? So we're basically in the middle of this cold air mass. These are the wake-up temperatures for tomorrow morning. 40 in Tampa, 42 at Clearwater Beach, about 44 right on the beach. 39 in Plant City, 37 in Land O' Lakes. We've got 35 for Brooksville, an actual air temperature of 34 in Crystal River. We do not have any freeze warnings for the area. Okay, so we have some cold air, but no freeze warnings. I'd still protect the plant. If you got real sensitive tropical plants, something like that you've been protecting when it gets cold this season, you're going to want to do that again for this evening into tomorrow morning. But I don't think it's as much of a frost. It's definitely not a frost because we've got the breeze. But I don't think it's much of a freezing issue as it more is for us with the wind chills. These numbers right here, right? 35 is what it will feel like at 7 in the morning tomorrow morning in Tampa. 34 in Carrollwood, 29 in Crystal River. That's the combination of the wind and the cold air coming together. Now, the next 12 hours, because of this, we have a weather impact alert. And this is our way here at 10 Tampa Bay, giving you just a heads up of like, hey, this is a little out of the ordinary weather, something that could inconvenience you, right? So 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. I should actually cut that off there at 9 a.m. because after that, we'll be warming things up pretty quickly. So sub-freezing wind chills in some spots. We'll be close to that. 30 to 35 is what it'll feel like. There'll be a couple spots in northern Hernando and Citrus that do get below that 30-degree mark. 32 obviously freezing. I don't think the air temp gets there for most locations, so we should be good with that. Now tomorrow, there it is. Look at the warm-up. That's nice. 65, 66 degrees in the afternoon with sunshine. And then tomorrow night and the Saturday morning, not as cold. 40s, upper 40s at that. And then during the afternoon on Saturday, I mean, it's a beautiful looking weekend. 70 for Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds. Now, there's some rain coming. I think it's going to get in here late Sunday night into Monday, probably more so on Monday if we get it. It's kind of flip-flopping on the models. But right now, I do think we could bring in a few extra clouds on Sunday, but I don't have any rain in that forecast yet, at least not during the day. Again, we might add a shower chance in the evening. We could use a little bit of the rain. We had some just the other day. That was great. A good soaker, too, by the way, for some areas, especially north of I-4. But the pollen, the tree pollen is crazy high, as you probably have felt it. But that is only really knocked down when you have rain in the atmosphere, right? Kind of pulls it down a little bit. And I don't see a whole lot of that through Sunday. Monday, we will get a little relief if we do get that rain. So hopefully that happens for you if you are suffering from that. Here are the average temperatures, right around 75 degrees. Look at us. A little below average through Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe just a little bit above. And then we get that other shot Friday. Forecast model seeing it, saying that's even colder than this one. But it would be very brief. And then we warm things back up a little bit into next weekend. That forecast is a little bit farther out. There's that rain chance for Monday. 40% is what I have right now. We'll see. Again, the morning runs of the European models say we're not getting anything. The afternoon runs tend to come in and say it thinks it will. There's the look through March 6th. And what you want to notice here is we're kind of near average through the first week of March, which is actually pretty good because the average is about 75, 76 for high temperature for this time of the year. And look, summer's always not too far away, and it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid, so it's good that we take advantage of this nice weather that we have during our dry season. All right, there it is. There's a 7-day forecast. You can see temperatures are going to be gradually warming things back up. Next rain chance appears on Monday, and then we'll be comfortable and really comfortable Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week.